This coming Sunday, we celebrate the feast of Christ the King, the Lord of the universe. And I think sometimes we might not resonate with this image of Christ. We might think of Christ the Good Shepherd, Christ the Teacher. We can pray with these images. These images resonate with us. But especially as Americans, Christ the King might not be the image that we associate with the most. Because we think of, even in our fairy tales or our stories, kings may be evil, at best ineffective. And so we really, I think, have to purify our ideas of the good king, because remember, Christ is the perfect king. So why would the Pope institute a feast with this title? Well, in 1925, Pope Pius XI instituted the Feast of Christ the King, and it was to combat growing secularism in especially Europe, but it was also to combat growing nationalism. He sensed, especially after World War I, with the rise of some of these new countries, with the rise of new political parties, that both on the right and the left, the governments were losing their faith, were losing their Christian values, and were losing sight of who really ruled the universe. That Christ is king. He's king of all nations, of all peoples, and of every human heart. And so in his document instituting this feast, Pius XI reminded us that nations should celebrate this feast to remind their governments that ultimately Christ is king. We put our trust, we put our hope not in earthly powers, but in God. So how is Christ the King of my heart? And I think that's what we need to think about this feast day, that we can get distracted by what's out there. But how can Christ be the King of my heart? Pius XI wrote that Christ needs to be the King of our mind, our wills, and our heart, that everything we do is ordered to his kingship, ultimately ordered to eternity and ordered to heaven. So let us live this feast. Let us pledge our loyalty to Christ the King, the only perfect King. And remember that ultimately we are citizens of his kingdom, and he protects us. He guards us. He rules our hearts. And that's a little theology in 3 minutes. Hey friends, thanks for watching. If you like Theology in 3, please like, subscribe, and share. And leave your feedback in the comments, because I would love to dialogue with you. There's a lot more content coming. God bless.